I'm here with designer and author Mary Hettmansperger. Hi, Mary.
Hi, how are you?
I love this necklace that you made. The spacing of the elements is what makes it perfect.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I really like the whole idea of building up dimension in pieces. So this is just a really great, easy way to accomplish that.
Yeah, and you're really using your components in new ways.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just, when you look at the components, a little bit differently, you can come up with all sorts of great ideas. Well, to start out with, basically, I take copper sheeting and silver sheeting. And both of these are 24 gauge, which is really not a huge weight, but it's really nice to work with. Also, what's nice is you can cut them. So I basically cut the shape I want, and I take my torch and I anneal it and put a patina on it and get it ready so that it's easy to hammer and texture. And I do that with just a regular ball peen hammer and texturing hammer, and I use an anvil, and then it's ready to go.
Okay, because you are all about the custom surfaces.
Well, I do love them. And basically, I'm going to show you how to put this one together. And this is just using some really nice decorative discs. And I first start out with the whole process of doing an eyelet. And what's nice about an eyelet is you can actually come in from either side, because the end process should look the same. So I'm actually going to come in from the base. And part of the reason I do that is because I don't want to turn this around and hammer into these little components. So I can take one of the little components here, and if you'll notice, the hole's a little bit bigger. So you have to kind of use a smaller piece, a smaller bead to come in and sort of
cover up that hole
a little bit.
Now, let me ask you about how you punch the holes in the metal. Did you just use a simple punch?
I just used a hole punch, yeah,
okay.
Just use a hole punch. You can use a drill, but just make sure that you have size is going to be comparison what you need. The eyelets are great. I have a little eyelet setter, and I come in like this, and pretty much
just give it a tap.
Well, very much, just a very small tap. I always say the very small, and it takes almost nothing to set it.
Oh, that's so great.
It is. And I always, when I get all three of these done, what I really like to do is punch all my holes in my front part first, and they're like a template for the back side. So when I go in to connect the back side, what I do is come in and hold it where I want it, and I'm going to grab my hole punch here. And you want to just make sure things are lined up. Now, one thing I've always told students when I teach is you want to poke one at a time and set it. Because what happens is it never fails that if you line them all up, when you get to that point, they're not going to line up, on the back side. So now you need to make the decision of how deep you want to go. And if you look here, on this particular one, I have just one spacer bead, and that fits that necklace really good. So here's just a few examples of different sizes of necklaces.
Oh, right, so you could adjust the spacing to fit your necklace cord or stringing material.
And I'm just going to use a nut and a bolt on this one, and basically I come in and take the little spacers.
And you know what? I like mixing all the different colors of metal together.
Oh, and it's great. On several, I will actually go in and mix even the discs together, which is great fun. And then come in like this, and then take your little nut and
fit it on there.
Fit it on there and screw it on. What I do then is cut the piece, cut the end off, and then hammer it down gently.
So that you don't have any scratchy surface there?
Exactly.
Do you have to file it at all?
You can, but what I've found is a lot of times I'll get a pair of pliers and hold that and then cut it. And I've got my cutters right here so I can show you. And basically you want a pair of cutters that are going to really cut a nice flat surface. Let me cut that. There we go.
Okay,
and you
so
can
it's pretty
see,
flat already.
Yeah, you're really wanting about maybe a card's thickness. And then when you come in to hammer, basically, I do this when I've got all of them, but I'm going to go ahead and show you. I basically come in and just start to spread that around a little bit.
Okay, so you don't want to cut it extremely flush. You need a little bit.
You need a little bit. Now you
down.
can just, glue it, but I think actually this makes it a lot softer. And then you can even come in with steel wool and really grab that if there's any sharp edges.
Right.
The other really nice thing about steel wool is you can come in and actually sand up your sides too, and make a little bit of a shine, which is real fun.
Yeah, it makes
after
it
you've
really
gotten
nice
your patina.
Wearable too.
Very wearable, yeah, very wearable. So that's basically how that one's put together. This one here, I wanted to also talk a little bit about just the idea of when you're designing, how to start from the top down. And I wanted to show you this connection. This is actually a brad. And what's nice is it looks like a, like a rivet.
Like it's been riveted.
But it's really not.
And it'll be hidden on the back side too. And what a great way to use buttons.
Exactly. And this is a button component. And when you do it this way, it actually takes away that kind of that button look. It looks more like a component of jewelry. And then you come in, and so you just lay it in there and then open it up in the back.
Smart.
And then you can hammer it and
work from
like I said, work from the top down. So then this one would get connected to the silver piece with smaller eyelets, and then the silver piece would get connected to the copper with longer eyelets.
Okay, let's take a look at this necklace over here, because this shows the spacers and that dimension that you're talking about.
And it really does show how deep you can get with the process too.
Right, so you attached all the elements to the front piece, then the middle piece, then back. And then on this necklace, now we've seen these used as multi-strand spacers.
Right.
This is really outside the box right here to use them as a decorative element. I love it.
It's perfect because it's already got the right size holes. It's wonderful.
Oh, so you can just connect it right to it.
And this one here is a clasp. This is actually a clasp that I took and connected it in one place and then connected where the hole was at.
The copper piece right there in the center.
Right.
That looks great. Thank you so much, Mary.